Amendment 64 passed. What's Gucci, McStoners and Potlets? So last night, on the 6th of November of 2012, it was one of the most fucking historical days ever in the entire United States history. Amendment 64 passed for Colorado, and Washington too also now has, well, they had a similar ballot measure, and that passed. So not only does Colorado have legalized weed, but so does Washington. And in case you do not fully understand how much of an impact this is going to be, not only, just for the state of Colorado or the United States, but for the entire fucking world from here on out. So prior to the early 20th century, most of the medicines you could find at a drugstore contained the cannabis indica extract or a cannabis sativa extract. And now, since weed is finally fucking legal again, scientists can begin researching more into the drug and how much wonders it can do for our bodies. And thus, a lot of the fucking evil pharmacies are gonna have good competition because, cannabis is a strong natural medicine. With cannabis having been illegal for so long, not many true studies in the scientific community could be conducted because, the federal law says, no, you can't do this. But, fuck them. Alright, so not only do we have the medical industry being benefited from Amendment 64, but we also we're going to get plenty of good taxes from the cannabis industry. And that what Amendment 64 proposes is the first 40 million, correct me if I'm wrong, taxes generated from, sales and all that, will go to funding public schools. And that's real fucking good because before I graduated, our district and many other districts in the city of Colorado Springs, we cut so many good programs and teachers because we simply could not afford it at the time. And so that, people wonder why our generation is becoming such delinquents. And I'm not trying to say, it depends all on money. Some of it does, however, even with that, I truly believe now that we can fund better education, being updated textbooks or even, updated computers in a computer lab, that's going to make kids want to go, to school more because they have, the modern technology and information about the world. So atop, the medical part and the public services being funded more, let's take this from a stoner's perspective. No longer do we have to fucking worry in the safety and privacy of our own homes to smoke a blunt or two. It's a freedom choice that we're now granted privilege, and we are so lucky to have. But we are not going to be incarcerated anymore. Well, okay, you can, but let's not get technical here. Let's keep this simple. If you get caught with, say, 3 grams of bud, you're not going to jail. And that's going to save so fucking much money on the prisons and jails in the state of Colorado because we already spend too much, keeping people locked up. The United States has one of the highest incarceration rates of the world. Alright, and furthermore, we in the state of Colorado and Washington are now going to be stepping stones for what I believe eventually, I'm not saying an estimate because I'm not too sure when this will happen, but when people realize of how much benefit we are going to gain from, having a fully regulated system of weed, we're going to be stepping stone for the rest of the world. And that this foundation will trigger a domino effect on other states in the U.S. and hopefully other countries in the world to regulate their own cannabis market. Alright, so more or less, this has been kind of a brief summary about Amendment 64 and just the many branches of positivity it's going to bring. So I really recommend you research this more and talk to your neighbor, talk to your guidance counselor, even your parents and family about all the good that we can have with a regulated cannabis market. Because we fucking need to end prohibition now for the rest of the world. It's quite silly how legal and useful our commodity once was, and yet we had it illegal. Thanks for watching. Because cannabis is now legal, I am going to scrap my dreams that I once had and pursue my true inner dream ambition, and that is to become one of the most renowned experts in cannabis in all the fields, for medical, for growing, for fucking even just knowing the culture. And I really hope to do this because we haven't really had many of those people, just because it's legal. And so with all this, groundbreaking revolution that's going to come, I hope I can help pioneer more for the world. Thank you. Oh, and I forgot to mention tourism. I shit you not, I bet we are going to see a lot of fucking out-of-state license plates in the future.